Alright, today I got another Wayback Format match for y'all to commentate. It's me playing against Logan, and I'm using an Earth Fairy deck with some of the new Earth Fairy support. Well, it's kind of new, it's like a year old now. Like this guy is Zolga, look at your top 5, and I think Logan's playing Thunders. Couple set passes. So what I'm waiting for right now is a way to get Zolga to activate so I can look at my top 5. And then I'm able to use Archfiend's Oath knowing what my next 5 cards are for guaranteed draws. And so really it's just a value engine. And Zolga's 1700 is not the worst thing ever. It's not good, but it beats over recruiters and stuff. So now I have Mudora, an Earth Fairy, letting me special summon Zolga with its own effect. Go ahead and look at my top 5. He was able to get a Lightning Punisher in grave, which is good because Thunders have Thunder Dragon 100 Thunders, which lets you revive all copies of a Thunder monster from your graveyard. So if you can discard 2 or 3 Lightning Punishers, you can make a huge push off of that one trap card. I said, now check this out. I activate both Archfiend's Oaths to draw 1 card each. And I can do the same thing again next turn since I know my top 5. Easy card advantage. It is a lot of life points though, so the deck is a bit aggressive to make sure I can beat my opponent before they punish me for paying so many life points. It's low to the ground, as you could say. His Shining Angel floats into a Battery Man Solar, and I think he just forgot to use the effect, unfortunately. Milling a Lightning Punisher would have been really good there. He pops my Shield Spear, so I just activate it on the Zolga to hopefully let it survive this turn with 2100 attack. He banishes a Lightning Dark for Thunder Dragon Duo. Just a pretty big beater. The plus 300 attack usually doesn't happen, but every time it kills something in battle, you get to add a Thunder monster to your hand from your deck, so it's pretty good at generating advantage as long as you can actually get attacks to land, but it's pretty weak to basically every backer out there in the format because it has 0 defense and just no protection. So here I just Offerings to the Doomed it, going -1, but he does the same thing to my Zolga, sadly, so he will also be going -1, so it cancels out. I still have my 2 more Archfiend Oath triggers, or activations. I get a Nitwit Outwit, a decent battle trap, not the best thing ever, but I play a lot of traps in this deck, so I gotta kind of dig around in the bottom of the barrel to fill up the 40. Because with these aggro decks, you want a lot of back row to make sure your opponent's monsters don't stick very long, so you can get your direct attacks in. And there I could have maybe crashed the Giant Rat to get a Mudora and swing over the Solar, but it didn't really seem worth it. He found another Lightning Punisher, but he already banished the first one. He's clearly not going to kill my Solar, so I try to do it myself, and he just Atakwas it, which I think is not a very good use of Atakwa, because I can just attack again next turn, and he just kind of wasted a card. Munia has been digging through a lot of his deck. This is also kind of unfortunate to discard. It's a permanent plus 500 on a quick effect, so it's really good, and it's too bad he had to discard it, but I guess he just wanted that back row more. It was Offerings to the Doomed, I can't really blame him. Here I summon World Soul Carbon, which tributes itself to search an Earth Fairy, loading the graveyard for Mudora, and setting up my Zolga plays. Not too bad. Giant Rat attempts to crash again, and this time it works. So like I said, that Windstorm of Ataka wasn't really worth it, because I just got the Rat off anyway. Mudora comes out at 2100 because of that Carbon I just tributed, which is just enough to swing over Munia Maidens. And now I can do another Zolga play for Archfiend's Oath, since I now control the Mudora. It also lets you look at your opponent's top 5, which is really good if they have like a small hand, because you know exactly what's coming up next, so you know how to play around it. Like if you see their top card is Atakwa, then you know to play around Atakwa by putting something in defense mode before you attack. That kind of thing. It gets me another Zolga, but I'm probably not going to use this one for Archfiend because I'm already so low on life points. and I'm already very, very far ahead on card advantage. I get my remaining 2 draws off of the current Zolga, though. Yeah, 2300 is kind of cutting it close, because things like Lightning Punisher are 2600, but at this point I feel so safe with all my back row that I think it's fine. Cha-Cha-Ka Archer comes down, free back row removal. It trades for an Offerings to the Doomed, which is totally fine. And then he uses another Offerings to not take the -1 on that one, since he's already skipping his draw phase anyway. Having to pass with no monsters on board kind of stinks, but the Windstorm protects me, so it's not the end of the world. And he didn't even attack anyway. I said I'm invincible because of all that back row. Medora comes out at 2500 because of the Zolga and the Medora that left the field on the previous turns. We attack Darks over 2500, and from here it's basically a foregone conclusion. I'm so far ahead. I don't think he has any way to come back from this. It's like -10 at the moment. Oh, yeah, as I was saying, I knew this was a Kamakiri because Zolga showed me his top 5, so I knew I could Exiled Force it for good value because he didn't get his Munia Maidens off of the Destroyed by Battle effect. Just making sure I close out the game sooner than later. And I knew this one was a Shining Angel as well. And here I can just attack it, use Offerings to destroy whatever he floats into, and then attack for game. Now let's see game 2. I think game 2 is a bit closer. I could be wrong, I don't remember. This is a good opening hand because we have Carbon to search Mudora, probably. Yeah. And the next turn we can do the Zolga play and start drawing cards with Archfiend's Oath. So a really solid starting hand. 2 good back row and a way to generate advantage immediately. This card's pretty strong. It is limited to 1 because if multiples were allowed, it would be a Shining Angel target that could go up to like 2600 or more attack, which is a bit too much for this format, but 1800 off of a Shining Angel is really good, and it's also a 1900 defense wall if you need it to be. So it's just a very good stat line, and you can boost it with Thunder Dragon Matrix. Here we go, starting the Archfiend's Oath plays. Breaker the Dark Magical Warrior. You'll notice I have a lot of back row removal in this deck, because the 3 Dust Tornadoes and the Cha-Cha-Ka Archer and the Breaker, because it is such like a heavy beatdown oriented deck, you want to remove all their back row as quickly as you can so your attacks actually go through. Also, the Tribute Summons sort of synergize with Zolga, because if you attack with something you tributed Zolga to summon, you can just sacrifice the attacking monster to do 2000 burn damage, which can be a way to push for game if your opponent has a lot of defensive monsters out so it can get damage. You can just burn for 2000 instead to close it out. But that usually doesn't come up at all, just because it's so situational. With this deck, you're usually attacking directly anyway, so there's no need to burn by tributing. Breaker, here I sort of took a risk. I attacked for 2400 with Breaker, expecting the Munia, hoping neither of these could destroy the Breaker, because I could have used a counter on Breaker to destroy a back row in main phase 1, but then he would only be 2000 and not be able to kill Munia. So I kind of took a risk attacking the Munia to kill it without popping back row first, but because the attack actually worked, now I'm free to pop these back row anyway. So it was a slight risk, but it definitely paid off. Yeah, here he chains 100 Thunders so that he can activate Judgment of Thunder on the summon to destroy something. So really I got rid of both of those back row with only 1 counter. So I still have yet another counter for another back row to destroy. And I'm not scared of this guy anymore because both of my monsters are over 1800 now. Dust Tornado to pop his back row. I think I knew that was a Dust Tornado because of the Zolga peak earlier. And so I knew I wanted to hit it with my own Dust Tornado the turn it was set so that it couldn't destroy my Archfiend's Oath, because I'm still getting value off of that. And we'll continue to get value the next time I draw another Zolga. That's why I used my Dust Tornado on the Dust Tornado instead of trying to hit it with Breaker, because I knew he could chain it to destroy Oath. Here he probably goes for Roulette Barrel, I think, because it's 2000 defense. So it can wall both of my attackers, at least for now. One Earth Fairy in the graveyard will get Medora big enough, but for now it's fine. He also goes for the free destruction, but unfortunately for him, he does not hit a 4 or a 6. I think he forgot. Oh, no, he didn't forget to put Barrel in defense mode. He was trying to bait me into attacking it, but I destroyed his Windstorm anyway. Which was a misplay on his part because he did just see me draw the Dust Tornado off of Archfiend's Oath. So he should have known it was there, but yeah, he said he forgot. So now I get some chip damage in, and I'm able to deal with the Roulette Barrel before it can actually wall me. Here we see a Solar, and he mills a Lightning Punisher in case he draws another 100 Thunders. And the deck should play 3, it's one of the better cards in the deck for sure. And at this point, I'm pretty far ahead because he's kind of on defense and I'm just pushing through his walls pretty easily. Yeah, I was like, why do I play this? Because this is an old list that I just decided to try out. And for whatever reason, I have 3 Skull Archfiend with Lightnings in it. Or at least I did, I took them out. Because it's just a solid tribute monster and I was trying to like synergize with Zolga's desire to be used for a tribute summon. But I realized during the match that because you pay so many life points for Archfiend's Oath anyway, having to pay an additional 500 for this guy just to stay on the field is not really optimal in my opinion. Just because that's a whole lot of damage to be taking. And if you don't have a way to get this guy off the field, you could end up losing to the burn damage. Or I mean to the maintenance cost. If you're not careful. I swing into his face down, and it is a Munia, so now I am getting walled by the 2000 defense walls, which the Roulette Barrel was supposed to do, but that didn't work out. Here I use my final counter on Breaker to pop the back row, and then I tribute it for a 2500 beater to swing over the walls. And now this game is in the bag at this point, because I still have 3 very, very good back row, and 2 huge beaters on the field. Well, 1900 is not huge, but it's pretty big. 2500 is pretty huge for this format. Here comes the Thunder Dragon Duo, but I do have Spellbinding Circle for it. Here I ponder which of my back row to use, and I go with Spellbinding Circle because I know if I destroy this, I think I didn't want to destroy it because I was afraid of 100 Thunders bringing it back, but this way Spellbinding Circle just stays on it, and 100 Thunders is not a way to get it live again. So that's what I think I was playing around here, was 100 Thunders. But then next turn I said, oh, I should have just Offerings it. Because now I still can't beat over it, which is awkward. And I kind of want to hurry to do it. Oh yeah, he did have 100 Thunders. I think that's why I was afraid of it, because I must have seen it off of a Zolga peak. Or something. Maybe. I'm not sure. Or maybe I was just smart to play around it. I really don't remember if I knew or not. But now that the 100 Thunders is gone, I can just Offerings this. Which I do in response to his Equip spell, so I actually break even instead of going -1, which is really convenient for me. Though I technically minus by using the Spellbinding Circle. And now here, you see I have, 6 relevant cards to his 1. So, we're pretty good. He special summons Corridor, and here he tries to get back this card with its effect, but Corridor actually only gets back other Nemesis monsters. So he's not able to put 2 bodies on board. He only puts 1, meaning I have game next turn because I can hit this with Offerings. Or Atakwa, that works too. And there we go. Hope y'all enjoyed this match, and I'll be back in the future with more videos very soon.